How I do patinas is this way. I'll show you the products I used. Okay, this is your before, this is your after, and it's buffed with a wool pad. And that area was done with Finesse It, real fine micro polish for like you use on clear coats. And then I will be adding Vengeance Liquid Shine, which is UV protectant, and you can literally stop at this point, or to seal it once and for all, I use old-fashioned turtle wax, paste wax, nothing fancy, this stuff. Oops, here we go. That stuff. It's been around since the dawn of time. Turtle juice. And then I'll put a wax on top of that at some point. Okay, I usually wash them first, then I wax them, and so on there, and get any unnecessary rubbing compound out of spots that it's not supposed to be. But this is an untouched area here. This is the patina, how it's flat and dull and ew. And then once it's buffed, it gets a little bit of a shine to it, but you're not removing any of the paint. You're shining what is there. So, tech tip. And you might end up with some transparent spots. You can see kind of like it's patina. It's not going to look any worse. Definitely going to look better from 10 feet. Well, there you go. That's 5 feet or 4 feet away. So, yeah, I'll take that. So, in part 6, we've got some other things we're going to be looking at here. We're going to start the process of buffing and polishing and sealing, and I want to did a short video on how I do this. I don't know, I have my gloves there because it's cold out, or cool out anyway. Let's see, where's the other stuff? What did I do with it? Anyway, I'm missing a bottle, which is odd. Damn. I don't know where I put it. Well, that's crazy. Oh, there it is, right in front of my face. No wonder I can't see it. Okay, so there's a bunch of things depending on what's going on here, and I hope it's light enough for you guys to see that. We got kind of some ick weather coming here, so I'm hoping this is going to end up pressure washed by God, so I don't have to do it. So, first we have 3M Super Duty, and that's for stuff like this that's really bad, and you want to do this. Now, you can color sand. I was tempted to color sand this hood because it's really got a lot of garbage on it, so I'm still on the fence. Excuse me. Let's start over. 3M Super Duty. That's the part number that works on fiberglass boats really well for polishing gel coat. It works on, you know, a lot of different applications. Like if you just want to do a quick cut and buff, you can use this material to just smooth it, you know, whatever you didn't get from the sanding portion of it, and go over it quick, but then let it dry really good, because these two materials do not like each other. Formulated totally different. This is Finesse It. Okay, this will give you a nice polish on areas that are semi-shiny. So let's say the side of this car, for instance, is what I consider semi-shiny, and we'll be using that material on it. Then I go with this with a foam pad to just go over the top of it. You just need 4 drops on a foam pad, and then you just work it in, and it will make things very shiny. Key is letting this stuff all dry off and giving it some time in between these processes. The final thing that I do is old school turtle wax, paste wax, turtle juice. This is old school, but it wax on, and this is all for like the alkylate enamels and acrylic enamel single stage stuff that was done decades ago. Now, do I said, like Christine movie, you can't polish a turd. Well, guess what? Yes, you can. So this is what it looks like after it's polished. It's just like you put that patina juice on there, which every body man on the planet absolutely hates because it soaks into the primers, and if you ever restore it, you got to strip it. Okay, I've got the whole back of the car done yesterday, so to give you some idea of before and after. So before, chalky, and after is going to be this. Now whether it polishes this up, I wanted this to say satin black, but hopefully it won't polish it up, but I'm hoping it dies back really quickly because it is a kind of a satin black paint that Dave used. Sorry, Dave, if you're watching. I doubt he is. He's always too busy for this. So there's a whole lot of dead paint on this hood. This hood is going to be a struggle, a big time struggle. So I'm really tempted to hit it with 1500 color sand to start with. There's a lot of super thin spots, which is fine. We're doing the patina thing, but anytime you sand, you can sand off like rust like this. Not like that's a bad thing, you know, because you want to stop the rust. Where there's rust holes, can't do anything about that. Try to stay away from this stuff with your buffer, because either you're going to tear up the metal or get all kinds of buffer material stuck in it. I don't care about the rust holes. Just don't care. The compliments I got yesterday driving this car around at the gas station and other places, even though it's Sunday, so this is a holy day. Good day for this car. All that's going to get fixed over time. You know, the bad rust in the bottom of the fenders, I'll make new metal parts and weld in metal parts, and I will be doing what we did back in the day. I will be sending away to California for some very expensive lacquer, and I will be using lacquer to blend in the fender, just like we did back in the 70s. So same thing goes for that rust hole. So all these things will get addressed over time. I just don't have the time to dedicate to doing it all at one time. I have 7 other projects waiting in line to get done. Plus, as you can see, I'm out of my cement slab. And if you're a follower of this channel, you'll notice that there's no more crap here. You'll notice that we continued on with that. Well, I should really shut my gas off my tractor. It drips. Everything got cleared away from here and all over by the sled shed, and as in snowmobile sled shed. The whole front of the shop is all cleared away, so it's all nice and neat and tidy. Moved the tire rack around the other side of the building in preparation for expansion of our shipping well, because it's going to get twice as wide, and another semi-trailer put in there next to that one. So that's kind of where I'm at with the grand scheme of things. It's been just an incredible amount of time to get through all this, and that stuff is going to be installed in the building in a place it needs to be. The loft, the air makeup loft, that rector set stuff is part of what's going to hold the air makeup up close to the ceiling. But that is a huge change. This tire rack and stuff that cluttered in between the 2 stalls, gone. So, and I have remnants of wood that needs to be cut up, cleaned up, and out of there, and that will happen in time. But getting back to the car itself, I see it starting to spit a little rain, so I probably should hurry along with this. I just want to do the sides outside. It's just easier on me for seeing and things like that. So I'm going to start with all this. And I know buffing is boring, so why watch it? So we're going to skip that, and I'll just show you how it is when it's done. And I'll be back. And we're back. So I want to show you what I did here. This is just, I had to buff it like 4 times to get a 2-foot square area here. Well, 1 foot by 2 foot. Red foot, blue foot. Wait a minute. Dr. Seuss. Oh, lost it. Anyway, I'm thinking that I really just should go over this whole hood because there's so much crud on it. And 1500 color sand. So I'll wet it down and buzz over it quick with the DA, with the how I do like the clear coats, and I'll be super cautious not to be taking off too much material, because then it will be bad and I can see what I'm doing, kinda. So I'll probably just buzz over it quick, stop, wipe it all down, and start over. I mean, I don't really want to sand the rust away here. I do, but I don't. So maybe it'll take off just the top layer. I can rub over the top of it. Everybody will be happy, and so on there. This hood is completely shot. I will replace it because it's gone. Holes. And and pretty much all the way across here too. If I had to save it and couldn't find a hood, well, I know a guy who's good with metal and wire feeds and things like that. So what I wanted to show you is, hopefully you can see the difference, well, let's see. Here's unbuffed, dead, unbuffed, this whole side. And I got through the first part of this with 3M Super Duty to take the scunge off. So now it's shiny, pretty shiny, all the way down the side. Now, what I did find out is there is a blend-in, lacquer blend-in in here, and there's a lacquer blend-in in the door, in the bottom part of the door. So when you buffed through that edge, now all of a sudden you got a funky thing. And there's a blend-in on the quarter panel, which stands to reason, because the quarter was repainted a long time ago and body worked for whatever reason, I assumed to fix this rust hole. And when they did the body work, they did a crappy job to begin with and didn't do it right. So it basically did that. And did this, where it's all cracked. And I can tell you exactly why that is because someone used nitrostain. Or nitrostan, depending on how you want to pronounce it. But it was basically a super thick lacquer-based spot putty that shrunk out of freaking sight and really took forever to cure if you got it on too thick. Thin coats was where you'd want to go, but you spread it on. It came in a tube, and you spread it on with a body plastic spreader, and you blocked it off with 400. That's how you work that crap. And I still have some of it on my Roadrunner, to be honest, which I can't wait to get that off. So this has all been buffed. I was super happy this did not shine up. The Plymouth didn't shine up, and I know it's really dusty right now. I'll get a rag. But everything behind it did. So let's just wipe this down quick. And even the paint that's cracked behind it, I mean, there's not much you can do about that. But when I first time I wash this, it'll wash that away and leave the shiny paint, and it'll get, wherever there's compounds stuck in little micro cracks, like here and here. I don't know if you can see that, maybe not. But that'll wash out, and it'll go all the way back. But what I was hoping it didn't do was shine the black up. It stayed flat satin, so I'm quite happy with that. I think it's kind of neat. I think the old Plymouth thing on the back is really kind of neat. I think Dave doing that was just cool. He got a stencil from a buddy of his, and he went and did that. Now this thing is just absolutely splattered with rubbing compound, and when I get done making a gigantamundo mess, I will go wash it off and get rid of the rubbing compound before I go into the wax stage. Because I don't want to fight that. So, in all honesty, I can pretty much see the sun or the clouds and everything in the sky. So, it's as shiny as this poor thing's ever going to get, and it's 150 times better than what it once was. As a matter of fact, one of my clients in Arizona even made a comment that this thing's coming along really nicely, and I wasn't even figuring he was following me. Well, you think he would, because I do a lot of work for the guy. So, he went fishing today. Lucky bastard. He better catch fish. He has a low-stress job. Let's just put it that way. Some days he just needs to get away from every human being on the planet and go just stop being him. And I get it. I wouldn't want his job stress for nothing. Actually, I've had his job stress. That's why I don't have a corporation anymore. I don't run an adult daycare anymore either. Well, which was the corporation. So anyway, this side is next. I'm going to take on this side. I'm going to zip because this thing is really cooked as far as, you know, the paint coming off and all that. And it's not going to be take so long, I hope. Plus, you know, got to go around real sensitive areas like that nastiness, which part of me wants to just bust that snot out of there, and it looks like blow foam behind it, and just smear it with Duraglass and body work it and put it in primer, and so I don't have to look at it for a while. I can always grind. I'd grind it all out anyway and redo it the right way, but the other side of me wants to do it the right way. Well, the right way is take the damn fender off and start from scratch. Acid dip it and see what you got left. And that's the right way to do that. And so at some point, I've even talked to my bank, who's running scared because of all this tariff garbage, and setting up a acid dip company to acid dip chassis and bodies and stripping and acid dip down here in Rochester, Minnesota. So I would assume with YouTube, I'm sure we could get just a ridiculous amount of work from this type of advertisement. But if you look at the before and after in the hood here, you know what the huge difference is. I'm good with that. You're not going to get perfect, you know, shinier, but patina. So I'm good with that. So, and I have a plan for the roof too, because there's just a ridiculous amount of, I guess the old fella thought that wiping some silicone in the cracks on the roof would stop whatever water leakage was going on there, or it was going to make it look better or something, and it just, there's spots all over the roof. So I kind of sort of got a plan for it, and I use some dye on a lot of stuff, but I don't know how that's going to react to the silicone. It's dye. It has to soak into a material. So I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with it, if it's going to make it look 100 times worse or not. I'm going to cut and trim this off because I don't need a, what do they call that on the, oh, eave. Your eave spouts. I don't need an eave spout on my quarter panel, although it's kind of a neat thought. So I'm going to cut this so this is flat to here, so it'll stop curling up and trying to peel itself off. So that's gonna have to happen, and whenever I get to that, I don't know when I'm gonna get to that. I have enough things on my plate. Next week it's gonna be crazy around here because I got to stop messing with this. So I got a few more things that's gonna happen, and I don't know if it's gonna happen in this video. So the things that I want to have happen. One is, after driving it a little bit, eventually it's going to get a B&M shift kit put in it, because I want to save the 904 that's in here. The fluid is really nice, but it's really slushy between shifts, and I don't like that. And it's sometimes it's just doesn't shift right. And I think it's got a little governor pressure things going on there that I don't really care for, so I can adjust that out. But getting crisper shifts will save this transmission and its longevity. I have plenty of cores. I have like 6 small block 727 cores. I can easily build a 727 for this thing at some point, or rebuild this one. Yes, I do trannies. My own trannies. I don't do trannies for anybody else. I send them somewhere else, because usually I'm way too busy to take that on. God, I made a mess all over my tires. Well, anyway, this is where we're at. Gonna buff the other side. I'll show you when that's done. And actually, you know what? I'm probably gonna wait and just come back to conserve time. I'll come back and show you after I go through the second buffing process, which will be with this product, and this is Finesse It 2 and that stuff. Yeah, right there. Part number 5928. So that will be, this actually has been finessed. So it's Super Duty, and then I went over it with finesse it to see how it was going to go, and I haven't taken it to the third stage, which is the Vengeance Liquid Shine. This stuff is amazing stuff, but you have to switch buffing pads, and I may not even bother to use that. Depending on how it looks, I may just go straight to wash it, turtle wax, close enough. But turtle wax is going to happen after today, because that can happen in the shop, in the hoist stall. I don't have another stall available right now because we're still under construction, putting in lights and replumbing air into the booth so this old guy can get a proper air breathing apparatus. So I wear a little bodysuit like a little chimp, hazmat suit basically, and so that I can survive doing the level of gel coat that I have to do for Tony this year, because it's a lot. And yeah, I can't be breathing that, or I will be. Tony won't be picking up his boat as soon as he thinks. Let's just put it that way, because I'll be in some kind of a aqualung thing, going all Jethro Tullish. This did come out. This is exactly kind of how the hood's going to look. You can see it's really shiny. Even the primer's shiny to a certain degree. It's just like if you wipe that crap snake oil all over it. But this stuff, doing it this way is the way to do it. I just absolutely detest that other crap. I just hate it. I just hate it. Because if you want to repaint a car, you can't. It's hell to pay to get that stuff off. I really like how the trunk lid patinaed the way it did. It's just neat. Couldn't have done that better if you wanted to custom paint it. I mean, I've seen guys custom paint patinaed trucks too, repaint them all and make it look patina. That, you can't duplicate that. Just, you can't. That's cool. So, yeah, I like the old guy driving the old car. It's neat. I got 3 or 4 compliments yesterday, and I hardly went anywhere. So I would assume as I get out and about with this thing, once I get it to a certain plateau, I don't know if you can see it on the side, but this way it looks really shiny. A lot of the car looks really good. I mean, what's left of the paint shines up pretty good. Green is definitely not my favorite color. And now that top looks brown in comparison to the green, but it was originally a black top, which I'm not going to put the floral top back on it. I'm arguing with myself because that's the way it came. It came with a green and gold floral top. I've dug into this far enough, which, speaking with the original dealer that sold it, I asked the question. I said, did that have a gold top or did it have a floral top, green and gold floral top? And he said, oh yeah, it definitely had the green and gold floral top, because it was sat in our showroom when we got it in and everybody said, what the hell is that? Well, North Dakota, whole lot of rednecks up there, and not exactly where you want floral stuff, right? Well, his story goes, some lady bought it, or her husband bought it for his wife or something. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I'll get more information on that, because we're for sure going to talk about where this car came from, because I've traced it all the way back to the Belvedere plant where it was made and everything that happened to it after that. So, neat story, but not for today. So, I'll be back after I get all this all buffed out and get it all as shiny as it's going to be, and then we're going to call it on this particular might even call it on this particular video and move on to another one. You may have to clean up your buffing pad frequently, because this is like after going like 2 feet when you're cutting through it with the Super Duty, and you're perfect it too, or finesse it. So, just saying, a lot of yuck. Well, to pick up where I left off, last left off anyway, this is the buffed out version of the Patina. The whole car is completely buffed, and now I'm going to put a sealer on it to seal it, and that is going to be a paste wax. And of course the furnace has to kick in, but it's shiny everywhere, yeah, except primer, of course, and can't shine rust like that. But anyway, it shines all the way down the side. I was pretty happy that the Plymouth stayed flat black, where it's painted Plymouth on the back here. And the deck lid, of course, turned out really nice. And this side came out really good as well. And you can see all the way down the side, it's really shiny. And the old paint shined up really nice, even though it was so badly damaged. I can't get down this side because of the hoist stall, but I just wanted to show you this before I seal it, and I will take it outside and I will get better pictures of it and so on. But it really came out surprisingly well. I'm quite positive that this is a good look. Yeah, that's a good look. So this is the final video on the Patina buff. As you can see, she's pretty shiny and yet retains all of the patina all the way around it, and but everything is really shiny. There is a coat of wax on this, so there'll be 2 more coats on it to totally seal it. Yes, more wax is a good thing. I don't know if you can see this, but right here there's actually a blend line where whatever work that was done in the quarter once upon a time was blended off. Up there, probably done with lacquer. There is one up in the fender here too, where I think they fixed that once before too. So this thing's been repaired, but this turned out just cool. I mean, this just looks neat, I think, you know, because of the coloration and how it just shook out. So this is the final walk around. And everybody says, you got a 383 in that? Because it really does sound like a big block. I don't know why, it just does. So this is kind of the final walk around here. I just kind of wanted to go for a drive quick, just because I needed to. It's been a long day. So this is the final on the Fury for a while here. The next stage of this is going to be oil pressure gauge, carb rebuild, and I have a signal light default switch that's supposed to turn your signal lights off. That's broken in the column and it doesn't work, so that's got to get fixed at some point. Transmission is a little wonky. I really want to put a trans pack in this thing so it's just crisper. I have the suspension set up so this thing drives exactly like my 70 Charger. I mean, it handles like it. It's a totally different car. It just handles like a B-body. It weighs the same as my 70 Charger too. So I haven't weighed this yet, but I will be doing that. I really think the buff on this thing came out surprisingly well. Everything I've done to the car has just really improved the whole thing. Oh, I am going to some dye the roof at some point to get it black again. There'll be some, well, it's a band-aid. That's all it is, just a band-aid, because it needs a whole new vinyl top and it's going to need roof repair, and I don't see that happening this season. I have far too many projects. Let's see. There's one other thing. So carb rebuild, oil pressure gauge, and one other thing that I can't, oh, tachometer. I'm going to hook up the tachometer. So I want to wire all that. Also, I need to figure out why I don't have dash lights, and it's so quiet in this car. The amp gauge is always charging even when it's turned off, so that needs some attention. And like I said, dome light works, all that stuff, but that doesn't do things, and the radio doesn't work because it's disconnected to hook in some aftermarket stuff. Just want the AM radio working. I don't care about radios and hot rods anyway. I don't listen to radio, so I probably am not even gonna put something in this. My son said I should get a Bluetooth set up so I can run it off my phone. Well, who cares? So I'm just to do a follow-up. Last time you looked down this hood, it wasn't that shiny. It was a bucket of chalk. And yeah, it's got a stone bruise. We're leaving that because that's part of its history. It got a rock one day. So another thing, I'm gonna make a point here. I said I was gonna put more coats of wax on. Now, I did a lot of fiberglass mold parts, and we used to put like 7 coats of wax on when we would do our mold process. And so I just wanted to say that you can, the more coats that you have on, especially when you have an open patina primer like this, that wax is going to soak into that primer. It's going to soak into the old paint, and you really want to put it on kind of heavy and rub it in all the way. Don't like let it dry and then rub it off like most of the time you would normally do. You want to rub this stuff in, so you want to work it in. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of messing around. Do not use a machine. It will be a disaster because it just doesn't, it absolutely does not like that. I've tried the foam pads and other pads through super soft pads, and it just doesn't work as good as doing it by hand. But by hand on a hood that's 80 feet long, well, I do like the lines in this hood too. That just does things for me. So anyway, just to follow up on this car, the whole interior is going to get detailed. The kick panels are going to get repainted. I'm going to send away to California for some lacquer paint. For the I'll probably get some Sem paint for that through my local paint shop. And I'm going to send away to California. This is ridiculous. California makes lacquer paint, but if you're a California resident, you can't buy it. So, but they make every color for these old Mopars. So you can actually do blend-ins and things like that, like we did back in the day. And I will talk more about that in another video. I just really wanted to wrap up where I've been. Yeah, the fuzzy dice thing. I don't know why I did that. Just because I could, I guess. Yeah, and I'll probably order the interior parts at some point. The new seat covers, Legendary has them. But the sun's going down now, and I am going to take this old bucket of bolts for a ride. And we're going to see you guys another time. Oh, I got to put my safety device on here. By the way, this does actually have a shoulder harness thing back there, but don't need it. That's optional. So yeah, so we're gonna just take this guy for a drive. The other thing I was going to mention too is the transmission. I set the transmission up exactly how the kickdown should be, and when you first drive it, you have to coax it into third gear, and once you drive it a little bit, it's fine. So that just tells me I got some kind of a governor pressure problem going on there. And so I guess I'm going to take you guys for a little ride on the final send-off here to my little hometown. And yeah, I know it sounds like it's really hitting the bumps hard, but it's really not. It's as stiff as my B-bodies have always been. But it don't sway, it don't tip over, it don't do weird stuff. It just gets out there and does what it's supposed to do. See right there, it's just not shifting out. But if you let off, it should shift out. And it didn't. So that's interesting. So that's something that's going to have to be addressed at some point, because we can't have that. So that's a valve body problem. and I'll be getting into that at some point. There's ways of making it shift out. Usually if you get into it and let off, it'll just flop into third gear, but it should do this automatically. We shouldn't have to play with it. So I'm gonna say we'll see you the next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.